Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of our crafty Advent calendar from Spellbinders. Now, today we are opening door number 4, and it looks like we've got a stamp, actually like a stamper on here, and 3 sentiments that go with it. I'm just looking at the little picture that's on there, and we're just going to get to working with this. I've got my little envelope here. We're going to take all the dies out and take a look at them. I'm just going to bring in a sheet of paper to throw. This is just some cardstock to throw these dies down on. But basically what we've got is the stamp handle and the stamp press and 3 sentiments. So here's the handle and here are the 3 sentiments. The sentiments are thank you, hello, and love you. And those are the 3 sentiments. And then we have got the like the area where you would stamp, and then we have got a label backer that we can lay our sentiments on. So that's what we've got there. And I've got all of my die cutting done and ready to go. I'm just going to push those things out of the way. I'm bringing in my large Spellbinders scoring tool, and we're going to take a full sheet of cardstock and score it in half, and we're going to create a shaped card for this. I die cut out several of the love yous, and I thought we would make like a heart card. And so what I'm doing is I'm just positioning this heart on this scored base to where I can get kind of a straight edge on the outside of the cardstock. So you can see I'm flipping it over to make sure the cutting piece right there will not cut through this, so that we'll have actually a double-sided heart that is attached so that we can have a card base. So we're just going to make this fun shaped card. This is a big heart. This is called Stitched Heart or something like that. I will link it in the description box below so you can check it out. It is still available at Spellbinders, and it is on clearance, so you can pick it up pretty cheap. I just was thinking I wanted to go along with this Love You theme, and I was thinking about a heart, and this is what I had, so I just went to my stash and pulled it out. Now today, instead of assembling the Crafty Advent Calendar piece first, we're going to get our card base ready. And so this heart can be die cut out several pieces so that you can just lay different colors down. And I've taken 2 different colors of cardstock from Spellbinders. I've got Bellini and Chiffon, I believe, and I'm just going to position it. They're A2 size panels. If I would have brought in a bigger sheet, I wouldn't have had to kind of do these multiple presses, but I was trying to really save on my cardstock. So we're going to just kind of piece this to where I can alternate the 2 different colors on our heart as we piece it. And so I'm going back and forth with the die cutting machine, cutting out, making sure I got all the areas cut out. And I'm just trying to get them to all fall out. And I think we just have to do one more press, and then we'll have all of them. And like I said, if I used a full sheet of cardstock, I could just run 2 presses, one of each color. But I was trying to save on my cardstock. So we'll go to the die cutting machine and we will get this one cut out. I realized I needed a different piece than what I originally thought. So we're going to get this laid down on there. And I think I will have all the pieces to mix and match this now. So we'll get everything popped out and we're going to layer this up. Now I will tell you, and I'll show you as we move along, I first die cut out these sentiments on my Anna Griffith Impress, however you want to say it. And then when I went to, I die cut the first 3 sentiments out with it. And then when I went to do my love yous, I used my Scout. And I will tell you, the Spellbinders Scout did a better job of die cutting those sentiments out to where it took those little tiny pieces of letters out, and I got a much better impression. I will show that later in the video. But right now what I'm doing is just putting all of these pieces back into this die and kind of positioning them very carefully. And then I'm going to tape the back of it so that I can just pick it all up as a whole, and then I can glue it all down as a whole, and I won't have to try and glue up and arrange it on my card panel and make a mess. So I'm just going to tape them down with some green mint tape, and then we'll pick it up. So bear with me. We are going to have a really cute card that we're going to use this for, and we're going to get our little dies assembled. So I'm just taking my time and trying to get them exactly where I want them. And then I'm going to put my hand down on there and press, and we're going to start laying tape down to where they don't move. And I'm just making it easier. I mean, you could individually piece them on your card base, but I'm like, I don't have to do that. I can do it this way, and it'll be just fine. So there we go. I've got it. I'm going to put another piece of tape on there, and then I'll realize that I've got one kind of not as tight, not lined up as closely as it needs to be, and I will go in and move it. You can see the little where they're not lining up there, and when I went to cut that off, I realized it. So I'm going to bring in my tweezers and just kind of lift that piece up, and we'll scoot it down a little bit, and then we'll get it laid down on there, and it'll be good to go. So I have been having so much fun with this Advent calendar and enjoying all the comments that I'm getting, and I'm getting some suggestions on my storage. Everyone likes my storage system for this, but they're making some suggestions along the way that are improving it. So I'm going to show you those as well, what we're going to do. So I'm going to fuss with this one a little bit because I feel like it's a little bit spaced apart, but I'm going to check it. I think it's going to be okay. We're going to go ahead and get it laid down on here. I'll try to move it a little bit. There we go. So that glue wasn't working, so I grabbed my glue press. I'd left the lid off of it. I've been doing a lot of crafting, and I left the lid off overnight, and so I need to unclog it. So I'm just going to use my magnet to hold that so that I can position this to where I have a nice little edge all the way around there. I'm using my tweezers to just kind of slide it up a little bit, and we'll give it a good press. And we're good to go. Now we can get to assembling our little dies. So this one, I used some thin cardstock. It wasn't very heavy, so I took 2 and I just die cut 2 out, and I layered it up, so I was straightening it up. And I've also layered up 2 of the black. I'm using Michael's for this particular piece, and they're not as heavy as what I normally use. And so here we've got our little love you, and that's what we're going to stamp all over our heart card. So I'm going to put it on here, and this is kind of how the example on the box shows it with the sentiment above it. And so I'm just going to get it laid down on here, and we're going to put it in the center of our heart. Now I have several of the love you hearts that I have pressed out, and we're going to add them just kind of all over this heart and just make it look like we've taken our stamper and we've just stamped all over this heart. And this first one I'm going to kind of lay there where I've got a little separation and just cover that up. And then we'll just start positioning these just all over the heart, and it'll just look like we've stamped it. And I'm going to kind of position that so I can go around it, but I'll wind up actually sticking one underneath it, so it won't really matter. I'm going to cover this heart up with all these. Looks like I die cut out 7 of them, and I'm considering cutting some of them apart and letting them hang over the edge there, and I will do that as we move along here. And I'm ahead of the game because now I have got a Valentine card ready, and I think it's super cute. Now here's one I'm going to tuck kind of behind the stamper, and it'll work out just fine. I'm just trying to fill in areas. Now here's where I've decided I'm going to cut some apart. And so I'm just going to get it laid down on there, bring in some little scissors, and just kind of snip around there. Just add a little bit of glue so it gets adhered. And then we'll take the U and we're going to position it over there. And I've got a little bit of glue on my fingers, and so it's sticking to my fingers and the glue thing. And I'm going to kind of fuss with it. I dropped it. Now we're going to pick it up and put some more glue on it. I wanted to snip a little bit because it wasn't laying exactly like I wanted it to around the curve of that. So I'm going to snip it, and it's stuck to my fingers because my fingers are gluey, and we're going to get it laid down on there eventually. And I've got one more I'm going to add to this. And just trying to figure out where I want to put it. And I'm just going to put it up here and just kind of fill in that space there, and we'll just lay the whole thing down. And now we're ready to position our little stamper, and I think it's a super cute card and just kind of a fun way to use it. Obviously you've got 2 other sentiments that you can use, but I just thought this would be cute. So I'm giving it a press. Now I didn't use that piece that you would back your sentiment with, but I will use it on the packaging so that I know what I've got going on there. Now I needed inside, because I used this dark cardstock, I needed an inside heart. So what I did was I took the die and I just took my poke tool and just scored all the way in around that, and then I took my scissors and cut it out. Now you can use a pencil to draw around there, but I didn't want to deal with that pencil line, so I just took the sharp edge of my scoring tool and I just scored around there, and it made a really good line that I could follow for cutting around it. Now it's not perfect. I'm not a perfect fussy cutter, but I think it worked out well to where I have an area to write on the inside. Now we've got our card assembled, and we're going to assemble our storage piece, and I'm going to get my little coin envelope, and I'm going to find the red heart. I wanted the red since we had our red panel there, and I did red and green for all of my numbers, and I'm just kind of mixing and matching. And I'm going to bring in, I die cut out all of the sentiments, the I love you, the thank you, and the hello you. And these three are the ones I use the Empress on, and I think this is where I'm going to show you. I'm going to go ahead and lay this one down on the frame, this sentiment frame that was included in the set. And so I'll just get it lined up. And then we're going to quickly assemble our stamper. And we'll get a sentiment laid down on there. And I'm showing you, you can see the hello you didn't die cut out very well, but the ones that I put on the card, those little pieces came out. And that was the difference between using the Empress and the Scout. And I have noticed that sometimes I do have to make a couple of passes with the Empress with some of the heavier cardstock. And I will tell you, I am using the metal shim. So I could put another piece of paper behind there, but I had the Scout handy, and so I just went ahead and die cut the rest of the love yous out in the Scout, and that's when I noticed the difference in it. So I'm going to give it a press. I love that Empress, don't get me wrong. It is great for not having to crank, and it is helpful, especially if you have arthritis or stuff like that. Plus, I have a great big set of plates that you can just die cut out an enormous amount of stuff. But they both have their uses. The Spellbinder Platinum 6, the Scout, and the Empress, they all have their uses that are handy. So I'm getting this 4 laid down on here. Now here is one of the suggestions that a viewer made. Put them back in the packet and then slide them in there, and then you won't have to worry about, if your envelope comes open, you won't have to worry about losing a piece. And so that is a great suggestion. I'm going to show that. And before I put it in there, I had some other suggestions. My friend Jim suggested putting the year on there, and then another viewer suggested putting the number of pieces on there. So I'm counting the pieces, making sure I know how many there are, and I'm putting the number of pieces on the back. And that way, if one goes astray, you can figure it out. The other thing that a viewer suggested that I had actually came up with was stick a piece of tape on the back so that they don't fall out. And so we've got our card and we've got our storage solution, just cleaning up a little glue off of here. And then I have taken a picture of both that you'll be able to see in the end. But I think it was a fun use of it, and I'm still liking my storage solution. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to hit that like. See you soon.